aileron motor, Batman. Hello there and welcome back to Build with the Boys. We now have issue 36 of Hachette's Build the Batmobile Tumbler. And in this one, more wires, but we've got a motor this time. So we've got a motor and we've got some switches and a motor. So we've got the aileron motor. So it's quite straightforward. So we're using the board that we did last time. We're going straight into the board. So we've got some wires to connect as usual. And then we're going into the board. And that will have our aileron motor done. In the next one, a windshield motor. Stick with it. Good things are coming. I promise you, we'll talk about that in issue 40. But before we get to that, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up and we'll get this one built. If you stick around for our bat chat, at the end of this one, we've been talking about what would have been Batman number 5. It would have been the sequel to Batman and Robin, and it was going to be called Batman Unchained. We'll talk all about that in the bat chat at the end. But without further ado, let's get this one open. Let's get this one built. Okay, so here's what we get in 36. Wires. Wires, were you expecting something else? You ain't got it, you got some wires. Right, so let's have a look what we're dealing with. So we have one of those that's going to go to the, yep. We've got some switches. And this should be the aileron motor. It is. Right. Let's get this done. Okay, it's just going to be number to number, and we're going in this end here. So as I said, these are printed on the ends. So we've got 36 first. Let's get 36 plugged in. It's going to go in there. This is 36. And over here we've got, I would imagine, 37. Yep, 37. So it's 37 in. And we have our aileron motor over here, which is, let's have a look at you. You are 35. Flip that one over. That's 35 plugged in. I think that's it. I think we're going into the circuit board, and I think that is it. Yep. Okay. Right. So then taking our long one here, we're going to bring our circuit board over. And we are going into 33, which is just over there. And there is a lot of electrics to this car. A hell of a lot. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is that one done. Oh dear. Right, let's have a chat. It's done. I wish there was more, but that's what we've got for issue 36. Look, I'll say it again. It's all got to be done. You know, it's just the way it is. But good things are coming, I promise you. We'll talk about that in issue 40. If you are just sticking around with the build instructions, thank you for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us massively. If you are sticking around for our bat chat, we are talking about Batman Unchained. And that was going to be Batman 5. And that was going to be released in cinemas in 1999. 999. But because Batman and Robin and Steel had done so badly at the box office, it was pulled. But before that happened, they were already working on it. Pre-production had began on Batman Unchained. The script had been written and they were already talking to cast. Now, George Clooney had stated, I'm never playing Batman again. Whether or not he could have actually seen that through remains to be unseen, because he'd signed up to make 3 movies. So whether or not he had the luxury of being able to say, I'm not playing Batman again, remains to be seen, because they could have either sued him or forced him to do it. But his contract was switched over and he made other films for Warner Brothers instead. So he made 3 movies for Warner Brothers. I think 3 Kings was the next one he did. And there was something else. Perfect Storm. So he just switched his contract. So it was like, I'll make you 3 movies. I'm making 3 Batman movies. So they went looking for a new Batman, and it was apparently going to be Ethan Hawke was going to be Batman at this point. Okay, I can see that. I think that would have worked. But you would be on your, what are we on now? 1, 2, 3, your 4th Batman in 5 movies. Not great, is it? So, it's weird. You're changing his head too much. That would have been a problem for that movie. So who were going to be the villains of Batman Unchained? Well, originally, they were looking at Nicolas Cage to play the Scarecrow, and bizarrely, Madonna to play Harley Quinn. Because time had passed, things had changed. Now, there is a debate on who was going to be the Scarecrow in Batman Unchained, because as much as Nicolas Cage says, yes, I'd signed on for it, Coolio has a very different version of events where he says, no, that's not true at all. The only reason I agreed to do Batman and Robin was because my contract stated that I was going to be the Scarecrow in Batman Unchained. Who knows? Now, the one thing I do know is at this point, Nicolas Cage wasn't kind of the straight-to-video Nicolas Cage you know now. He was one of the biggest actors in Hollywood. And I think he was coming off an Oscar win at this point as well. So I think it's unlikely that Nicolas Cage would have been the Scarecrow. And the reason why is not because of who he was, but because of what his fee would have been. Because if you've seen what the planned cast list for Batman Unchained is, how they were ever going to pay for this movie is anyone's guess. So you would have had the new Batman, which is Ethan Hawke. Harley Quinn was very much a big part of this movie. But she wasn't going to be Joker's lover. She was going to be Joker's daughter. So the difference of this one is Harley Quinn was going to be the daughter of the Joker. And Scarecrow was going to be Scarecrow. And the plan was they were going to hit Batman with nerve gas and drive him insane. And he'd end up in Arkham Asylum. And whilst he was in Arkham Asylum, the whole thing was going to be done like a trip. So he was hallucinating a lot. And what they were going to use that plot device to was to bring back every villain that had been in a Batman movie into this one. So the cast list of this one would have included Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Danny DeVito, Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Uma Thurman. All of them were going to be in this one. They were going to appear at different points. He was going to fight them in Arkham Asylum until eventually defeating them, defeating Harley Quinn, defeating the Scarecrow. And it was going to be this massive, But that cast list would have cost you millions and millions and millions. If you could get them all, that would be impressive. So if you get all of them at the same time to have a free schedule to film Batman, that would have been impressive. Now, not only that, you then have to look at you have to have all their schedules free. Now, a lot of these would have just been cameos, but even with cameos, all of them now need a costume, all of them now need makeup, all of that. This is a lot, right? A hell of a lot. It sounded good, I'll be honest with you. The actual plot of it sounds good. The script itself is available online. You can go find the script for Batman Unchained, and it does actually sound quite fun. However, had they filmed it in the same campy way they did Batman and Robin, it wouldn't have been. But the plan was, let's go darker again. Batman and Robin, I think it's a little too light. Let's go a bit darker. Never got to see it, though. Never happened. The other side note, which again is weird, which you think, oh God, maybe this would have been a train wreck, is genuinely, if you had all those actors and then the main villain was played by Coolio, gets worse, because Madonna wasn't even being considered at this point for Harley Quinn anymore. They were looking at Courtney Love, Kurt Cobain's widow. Yeah, Courtney Love was going to be Harley Quinn. Can you imagine that? Courtney Love and Coolio are your main villains of the movie, and they wonder what went wrong with Batman. It's like, Jesus. So, yeah, it's it never happened. So it's the movie that never happened. And there are a bunch of these. There are a bunch of superhero movies that just never happened, but nearly did. If you have a chance, I haven't got time to go into it here. If you get a chance to deep dive, in the 1970s, they nearly made a Marvel movie called Dazzler, which has got the most insane script you will ever read. Put it this way, there's one scene in Dazzler that involves the band Kiss fighting the band Earth, Wind and Fire in a roller disco. And we never got to see that movie. I'll never forgive them for that. That's all for this one. We'll be back very, very soon with issue 37. We'll be doing the windshield motor. And we'll also be talking about, again, you're thinking we're on the Nolan movies. No, we're not on the Nolan movies. A lot happened in those 7 years. We're going to talk about what happened next, because they didn't give up on DC, but they didn't really try at the same time either. We'll talk about what DC properties came out in that period very soon. If you haven't yet, please remember to like and subscribe. It helps us massively. You can contact us at buildingtheboys@outlook.com. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. I'll see you very soon. And remember, Gotham needs us.